folks, and welcome to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. You join us today back in Yorkshire, where we've come to Ripponden once more, and we've come to have a look at Stott Hall Farm. Now, the name may mean nothing to a lot of you, but I'm sure many of you have seen Stott Hall Farm when you've been zipping through into Yorkshire or back over into Lancashire, because it's that funny little farm that's in the middle of the M62 where a lot of myths have sprung up around it. So we're going to take a little look at that today and explore that as much as we can. So we're going to push on now, and we're going to be going past that rather impressive concrete wall as we go, which is Boothwood Reservoir. That lays behind it. Now normally when that reservoir's right full, there's water flows over that, and it's a really impressive waterfall. Unfortunately it's not as full today with the sun being out and that, so I can't show you that running, unfortunately. You can't have everything, guys and gals, can you? Can't spoil you too much. Anyway, without further ado, let's push on to Stott Hall Farm, shall we? Well, this is where our little journey starts properly, through these gates and up this path, because beyond there lies Stott Hall Farm. We'll take a little look as we're passing at that waterfall down there, which behind that lies the reservoir, Boothwood. Right, we're about halfway up now, and we should just be getting our first glimpse of the top of Boothwood Reservoir, on the top where that waterfall is. Well, this is our first glimpse of the top of the waterfall, with the reservoir behind it. Just look at that, it's amazing. Right then, we'll take a look at it from the other side, shall we? Behind me is Boothwood Reservoir. And that is the top of that waterfall that I mentioned earlier. The idea is, as the level of the reservoir would rise, it would go over that opening there that you can see. And I think you can see a tide mark running along the wall there. So yeah, this reservoir is usually more full than it is at present. It's a pity it's not running, because when I looked on Google Earth to find out about this walk, it was actually running in the pictures, you know, from the street view, and it looked magnificent. But there you go. Can't give you what's not happening, can I, hot potters? Now, I'm almost sure that it was this reservoir that was a bit of a side project when they was building the M62, that they had to alter this a little bit in order to allow the carriageway to run up, which is just up above us there. Anyway, we'll push on to Stott Hall Farm now, which is on that path up there, I believe, Mrs H. No point putting it off. We'll have to go. Come on. It's a fair old trek up this hill. You know, it's we need to be underneath that underpass there. I hope it doesn't keep going up, Mrs H.
Me too.
We're now approaching the first of the underpasses that lead up into Stott Hall Farm. That hill behind me, it's a fair old hill. But it played a part in saving Stott Hall Farm, which I'll explain in a little while. Anyway, we'll make our way underneath the M62. So here we are, we're actually underneath the M62. Can you believe that? This carriageway is running into Yorkshire. I'm sure Mrs H will say the best way. Just on the right hand side, at the end of this little walkway, is where the farm actually is, or the entrance into it. Obviously we can't go in and have a look around the farm because it's private land. But as I say, we're actually on a public footpath here, so we can do a bit of filming from here. So we'll take a look at the farm, shall we, what little bit we can see, and see what it looks like in the middle of the M62. Now, I'm sure many of you have all heard the rumours that the farmer refused to leave this area, and another one is that he demanded too much money for his land from the authorities. So they decided to back off and build a motorway around him. I'm sorry folks, but I'm going to blow that myth out of the water. Whilst it's true that Ken Wild, the original owner of Stott Hall Farm, did protest against the motorway being built and encroaching onto his land, that wasn't the reason that they built round him. The reason they built round him is this area is in a geological fault. As you've just seen as we've walked in, it's on a hill and then it goes down again. So they decided it was just too much trouble, they just couldn't get round it. Probably now, if they were going to build a motorway now, they'd flatten his farm and build straight through it because we've got modern technology. But back then they couldn't do it, and they decided the easiest way was to go around him and build him two little underpasses. One which we've just passed through and another which we're about to go through, so that he could access his land. Originally this was a 70-acre farm and he did lose a little bit of land, because what the government do, if they're building something like a big project like this, they compulsory purchase order your land because they say you're standing in the way. The old myth of the Englishman's home is his castle, it is until the government wants it, as my father found out in the 80s. Anyway, we're going to go through the other little underpass now and out on the other side. So let's go. And there's a shot of the farmhouse. As you can see, it's really close to the motorway on both carriageways, you know, going each way. Amazing to think someone lives there. Once again, we're under the M62 carriageway here. The traffic now will be thundering that way, heading into Lancashire. And he uses these tunnels as a little storage area for all his equipment. Suppose he makes use of it. Now, this farm has been subject to a lot of theft, apparently. You know, people have been driving down in vehicles and stealing his equipment, which makes sense as to why all the gates are locked when you come up, type of thing. As a walker, you do think to yourself, you know, actually, can I walk across there? Is it private land? But yeah, you can come, there is a private footway through, but the road is private, so you can't drive up it. So we'll push on to the other side now and we'll take a look at Stott Hall Farm from the other side of the motorway. Well, we've made it on the other side of the M62. As you can see, that Stott Hall Farm's just there. That's how close they are to the motorway. I mean, it does make you wonder if it was worth sticking it out to be so close to this, because I wouldn't want to live so close to it. Another myth was that they were supposed to give him triple-double glazing. I don't know, I mean, Everest, if anybody of a certain age remembers the old Everest adverts where he drops that little feather at side, I think they should have done it on his farmhouse myself, don't you? Right, we're going to head back the way we came now because it's a bit of a dead end up that way and I don't want to go trespassing on his land. He might come out with a full shotgun. So we're going to head back under the passways now and come back on the other side. So folks, that brings us to the end of our little look at Stott Hall Farm. I know I've always wondered what it looked like when I've been zipping past on the motorway, and now I know, and now you do as well. So we're going to head back to the car now after that little walk. I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier coming down that hill than it was going up. So, until the next time, from myself, from Mrs H and from the girls, and from Stott Hall Farm, it is bye-bye for now.